Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. DJ here with Hands on SAP Dev, another episode. Great to be back. Last week we missed one because of SAP TechEd in Las Vegas. Next week is SAP TechEd in Barcelona. Good morning. Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, Robertino. Good morning, Bombadil. And good morning. I think I saw a message from Napit as well. Good morning, good afternoon, or good late afternoon, Napit. Great to see you all here. Yeah, it's nice to be back. I guess the conference season means that, and also quite a few code jams and inside tracks have meant that the regularity of this, these episodes has taken a bit of a beating. But we're going to keep going and heads down and on with it. I've got my coffee from SAP Coffee Corner Radio, of course, my mug. Good morning, Srikanth. Good afternoon, Srikanth. Oh, I'm really tired. I don't know. I recover more slowly in these in my sixth decade. Yeah. After sort of jet lag and travel and everything, so my brain is not quite where it should be. Well, I mean, it's still in my head, but hopefully. Anyway, you can tell because I'm rambling. So I need some coffee. And that reminds me, actually, and Ronnie you gave me a nice reminder as well on Twitter this morning. So we'll cover some podcast information as well. So what have I got to show you this morning before we get properly started? Next week is SAP TechEd. That's really cool. I'm wondering whether to take with me a new addition to my keyboard family, which Michelle bought me for my birthday a few weeks ago, and it is down here. In fact, there we go. I'll just put it up there. Vortex Core, and I can do it. Well, it's not an unboxing, but it's really nice unboxing experience. I'll just take it out. And I'm not using it on the stream today because it's a little bit extreme and it's going to take some getting used to. And I'm not a touch typist either, but it is a 40% keyboard. So the keyboard I'm using right now is a 60% keyboard, the An Pro 2. But move it to my, which way do I want to go? Move it to my, there we go, that way. Yes, it is compact. Hey Henrik, greetings. Yes, it is compact. No number, no nothing. Nice Cherry MX Blue keys. So I'm looking forward. There we go. Look, I'm looking forward to using that. How does it compare to the, or learning how to use it? How does it compare to? This is a 60% keyboard. It's quite small. I'm not going to lift it up because I might uncable it. But anyway, it's quite small. Let's put that over there. So yeah. I'm not sure that I'll use that as a daily driver, but it would be a nice idea to. Who says that life is all about having it easy for yourself? I've got this manual coffee machine that takes quite a bit of skill to use, and I haven't got that skill yet, but that's part of the fun, right? Good morning from Barcelona, Spain. Good morning to Barcelona, Spain. Expo Code. Welcome, Expo Code. In fact, some of us will be in Barcelona next week for SAP Tech. I'm looking forward to that. I know that Ronnie, you're on your way there next week, and I will be too. And a lot of the all of the SAP developer advocates will be there in the developer garage. So come and visit us. Anyway, let me just switch. Oh no! Before I switch, got some really cool news. Some little giveaways, really. Mr. Ronnie Sletter has. Colon quit. Are you leaving? Colon Q, Ronnie. Vim, yes. Colon Q. Oh yes, leaving without saying goodbye. Colon Q exclamation mark. No, before I move away from this particular scene in OBS with a camera with a sort of large sort of video. In talking of TechEd last week in Las Vegas, and I'm sure they're going to have some in TechEd Barcelona. I know that not everybody can get to TechEd. So I'm just trying to read what Ronnie said. Helping. I'm sure you are helping, Ronnie, but it's completely confusing me. But I'm not with it. I'm not with it. But thank you anyway. Good morning, Fred. So anyway, in SAP TechEd, they've got these really cool badges, or if you're of the US English persuasion, they've got some really cool pins. Why do they call them pins? I have no idea. The pin is only a part of it, right? It's hendiadys, actually. Hendiadys. Look that up. That's a word that describes. It was word in sort of when I was studying classics at university. Hendiadys is basically they pull the prows up onto the shore, where the prow is part of the ship, but what they really mean is they pull the ships up onto the shore. So maybe that's a hendiadys, a pin. Anyway, some really cool badges here. Oh, there's a 50p there as well. From TechEd, and I think we could give some away on the stream. I've got here some. I've got quite a few. Maybe I don't know. Here's a handful right now. I've got another handful at least of that size. So a few to give away. So I've got. There's a pin in action. What's that one there? Oh yeah, caffeine to code machine. Got some of those. And I've also got Eat, Sleep, Code, which is a bit odd because shouldn't it be Eat, Sleep, Code, Repeat? But anyway, maybe these are sort of, the odd things that they may correct later. So this is a very rare thing to have. And my personal favourite, which I think is awesome, and I think you might have seen it on a tweet from TechEd last week with me and one of the cool folks that does some ABAP code jams and other ABAP tutorials and so on, Ingo Bräuniger /H. I'm just waiting for it to appear in the video there, so I know you've seen it. So who knows what /H refers to? And more importantly, does anybody know what the H in /H means, or it is short for? So I've got these badges. I've sent some. What have I sent in the past? I've sent some stickers in the past, some random stickers to folks where you've sent me your mailing address via a Twitter direct message. Don't send it publicly, obviously. So if you fancy a couple of these badges, pins, let me know and send me a Twitter direct message. I did say before, send me a Twitch direct message, but I don't really look there that often, so send me a Twitter direct message, and if I'm not following you, ping me on Twitter and I'll follow you, and I can with the address and everything, and I'll send you a couple of these badges until they run out, of course. First come, first served, etc. If you go into TechEd, I'm sure you can pick some badges up there. So leave, if you go into TechEd, leave these badges for those who aren't. Good morning, Helmut. Yes, Expo code, you've got it right. /H, let me get one out again. /H is for activating debugging on the ABAP stack. Or in fact, this is not just an R3 thing, R3 architecture ABAP stack. It goes back to R2 as well, which is quite interesting. So, and the H stands for, in German, Hoppel, as in basically to hobble, and that's why we call it in English hobble mode. Go into hobble mode. /D was more fun if you know HR dynamics. Oh, /Dunkelheit, /darkness. That sounds quite exciting, Henrik. So I've got these things here, but most exciting, let me just switch to the main scene. Let's have some coffee here. Most excitingly, and I'm glad Ronnie's here, because Ronnie can tell you more about it as well, because Ronnie is basically the person who is behind this awesome initiative, so all kudos to Ronnie. Ronnie tweeted something the other day. Let me just switch that across to the other side so you can see it better, which was, we have stickers, hands-on SAP Dev stickers, and it's a limited edition thus far, and we've decided that we can give some of these away as well to folks that are on this live stream. So maybe you should have a keyword that you have to send when you ask for a couple of stickers via post. Same thing, same procedure. Send me a your mailing address via a Twitter direct message, and to prove that you were on this live stream or watch the replay, but that, that's sort of almost good enough. What keyword what secret word do you need to send to me to prove you were on this live stream? Maybe /H. No, that's too complicated. That is too associated with the badges. How about coffee? Secret word is coffee, because I just looked at my coffee cup here. So yeah, send me Ronnie's done all the work, but send me your name and address on a Twitter direct message with the code word coffee, and we can give away up to, because it's a limited edition, we can give away up to 20 stickers. And Ronnie's going to bring them to TechEd Barcelona as well, and I can bring some of those. I think we've got 50 altogether, or 50 of 2 different colours, and I can bring some of those to TechEd Bangalore as well. Robert's Kofifi, yes. Well, actually, let's stick with coffee, because there may be a spelling issue there when people send the wrong spelling of Kofifi. We've got 50 of each. Thanks, Ronnie. Ronnie's going to bring them all to TechEd Barcelona, and we're going to do a giveaway there as well. But you've got to do something for it. Basically, it's going to involve coming down to the Developer Garage, which is of course the place to be at TechEd. Do a mission, and come and see me, and do a tweet with a thumbs up or whatever, and the sticker, etc. So yeah, Ronnie's put there in the chat what they are: white text on black and solarized dark, which is really cool. So I'll probably write a short blog post about what you need to do to come down to the Developer Garage, get one of these stickers. And thank you, Ronnie, for being awesome and organising that. So there we go. And also, I would like to do some Futurist Terminal stickers as well. And we're still not forgotten about the idea of merch, t-shirts and so on. So watch this space. Anyway, that's that. What else do I... Oh yes, Advent of Code. I just want to remind everybody that in a couple of months, this is Advent of Code. Currently, as you can see, last year my Advent of Code was useless. I didn't get around to it at all, but I'm sort of determined to do some more Advent of Code this year. So Eric Wastel has announced that Advent of Code is coming in December again. So I'd like to get ready for Advent of Code, because the problem last time was like, what language I want to use and how I'm going to do the sort of the testing process, blah, blah, blah. Remember the very first episode of Hands-on SAP Dev? We did, I think, an Advent of Code thing. So 12 days of cap mass. Oh, Ronnie, you are on fire today. That's so amazing. It made me cough. Advent of Capmas. We, in a way, I'm not going to go back to episode 0. You can if you want, but go and watch episode 0. And I think that setup with using Node.js, for example, and using NodeMon, and have that sort of automatically run every time you make a change to the code, and have this sort of slight framework, skeleton framework where you have, and I'm assuming Advent of Code is going to have the same sort of thing where you have a question A and a question B. I think that worked pretty well for me. Thank you, Bombadil. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I don't know what's going on with the with me. Stream chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you for pointing that out. Sorry, I'm assuming it's a sir. Thank you, Bombadil. How silly of me. It might not be a sir at all. There we go. That should be better. Thank you so much for telling me that. Awesome. That's much better, isn't it? Yes. We can see now. Oh, that's okay. Let's think about over the next few weeks, who's going to do Advent of Code and how we're going to do it and everything. 12 days of Codemas, Capmas. Oh God, I like the idea. Anyway, this stream is not just about Cap, but I like that idea. Anyway, so that's Advent of Code. What else did I want to show you? Oh yes, so I've been playing around with GitHub Actions, which is super awesome. Thank you very much. I think somebody just subscribed. I can't read that. Sunday Light. What is it? Sanditai Light Vessels. Thank you very much for subscribing, by the way. Following. Thank you. I'd seriously look into applying for the beta program, although I understand that GitHub Actions is coming to everybody. next month in November. I've put together a GitHub action, which I'll show you shortly. I wanted to do a specific thing. I had a specific itch to scratch relating to issues and projects in a GitHub repo. So I'll show you that. It's pretty awesome. So there's the GitHub actions. One really cool thing, the World Wide Web. This is the original. This is like a simulation of the original World Wide Web browser and server, browser that Tim Berners-Lee wrote on that Next cube back in whenever it was. And the wonderful thing is that I tested out my blog, not blog post this time, my blog, a series of blog posts, and it renders beautifully in the original browser, which is really nice. So for example here, double click on an article and look at that. So I'm glad that my blog is still renderable originally. This is Next Step. This style is Next Step, which is the window manager and display manager, or the GUI basically of the Next machines that came from Steve Jobs' company Next, that Tim Berners-Lee was using. So yeah, really nice. There's that, and we've seen Ronnie's stickers, haven't we? So yes, and Ronnie also exactly, that is the beauty of open standards. Exactly. I mean, obviously no JavaScript then, but there we go. So Ronnie posted a tweet, thank you very much, Ronnie, reminding people about Tech Aloud. If you've not heard about it, Tech Aloud, as in, I spelt it aloud as in it's read out loud, as in vocalized. But of course, I like to play on words. Tech is allowed. It's permitted. And I also like the way that the font that I chose makes it look as though it says Tech Cloud. Anyway, I had an itch to scratch, which was, I've got so many articles I want to read. I'm never going to get around to reading them all. I wish somebody would read them to me in my ear while I'm walking or getting the bus or something. I couldn't find a podcast that did that, so I thought, right, I'm going to do it. So this is Tech Aloud. I've got a number of episodes, quite a few already. The general idea is that up to 10 minutes, maybe 15 if it's if it's worth it. And it's not just it's all sorts of different things that I find interesting, and I think other people might too. So there's some posts from. In fact, let me go to my episodes list. This is my sort of internal dashboard thing here, but I want to show you. It's quite an easy way to show you the dashboard. So you can see that there's one from Alan on the SAP community. There's one of my Monday morning thoughts on GraphQL, a classic from many years ago from Joel Spolsky on the law of leaky abstractions, and so on. And really interesting one about domain specific languages. In fact, a pair of those things by the great Martin Fowler. And so I wrote a blog post on the SAP community that introduces Tech Aloud. And so have a look there to see what it is. Why, for example, DSLs I think were really important in relation to CAP actually. Where's the blog post? In fact, if I go to twitter.com Ronnie Sletter, I think you posted that most recently. That was one of your latest tweets, Ronnie. Where are we? Come on. Oh, there we go. More info. Is it that one there? Yes. So that's the blog post that describes what, in my mind, why domain-specific languages, which is a concept which is super cool and super interesting generally from a programming perspective, why I think it's relevant down here in the CAP world. So have a read of that. I'm sure Ronnie or somebody will post a link to that as well. Hey Mahesh, good afternoon to you, sir. How are you doing today? Blog. So yes. So thank you, Ronnie. And the way I manage it is that the way I manage lots of different things in my life, in my work life, I create a GitHub repo. This one's public. Many of the ones I create are private. This one's public, and I use a project in the GitHub repo context, and I have different columns. I've got a submitted column, a planned, a recorded, a published, and I manage it like this because I like dragging cards from one place to another, right? So that's that. I've been adding. Let's look at that one. It doesn't really matter which one we're looking at. I've been adding items to these columns. Basically, these columns are associated. The cards in the columns are associated with issues. So when I want to think, oh yeah, here's a blog post or an article that I want to read out, I put it in here, and then I eventually get around to recording it and then publishing it. So, and the format is for the issue. I have the title, I have the author, and I have the date. And sometimes the date is just a year, sometimes it's a month and a year, sometimes it's a day, month and a year, which is fine. Then the source URL, and then a sort of small reason, sentence, paragraph, why I think it's worth recording. So, and this is a first on this episode. I've been doing this myself. People may have come across this repo by accident. There's one person who knows about this repo. I used him as a guinea pig. That's John Patterson, Jasper07. He posted an issue to this repo with a suggestion as to, why don't you do the law of leaky abstractions? That was John's suggestion. So I would like you folks to feel free to add issues to this repo. And the really cool thing, I think, in fact, I'm going to open up issues in a separate window. In fact, we don't need that for now. Let's get rid of that. In a separate window, and I want to show you something. I want to show you something quite cool, which is that if I go to this episodes project, if I add another issue, I'm just going to do a test issue for now. So there we go. Let's add a new issue and say test issue for hands on SAP Dev episode 38. I won't put a description for now. Now, if I submit the issue, I can assign it manually to a project, but one of the things that I really want to do is I want to allow people to sort of submit issues and not have to do anything else. And what should happen in a second is that issue will end up in the project, in the episodes project, in the submitted column. And the way I do that is via a GitHub action, which is triggered on an issue opened event. Okay, so if we look at the actions here, we can see that it's running right now. I mean, it's not immediate, but it's within a few seconds. And what you can see here, and also keep your eye on the right hand side in the submitted column in this project, it's very slow. I know my machine is always slow. I've decided to request one of those Elgato HD60S streaming boxes so I can actually encode and stream from another machine, so that this machine is not like overloaded when I'm doing streaming. Why is it not refreshing there? So there we go. Yes, crowdsource curation. Yes, setup job. There we go. The job is being set up. So there we go. There it is. In fact, test issue for hands-on SAP Dev episode 38. So it's appeared there. And create new project card with issue. If you have a look basically at the details of that, you'll see that it works. So have a look if you're interested. Have a look for the Tech Aloud repo. Feel free to submit an issue. Make sure, because I'll reject it otherwise, why not, that the issue title is title of the blog post or article dash author dash date, and then the URL, and then a little bit of a reason why you think that's good. And I can then consider it for the Tech Aloud podcast, and I thank you very much in advance. You use the project. Exactly. Yeah. The GitHub, the GitHub whole universe is just fantastic at the moment. So anyway, if you're interested to see how it works, have a look at the code in this thing here and look at the workflows, .github workflows subdirectory, and you'll see that this is a little job. This is like, mainframes all over again. It's fantastic. This is a little job that uses this action add issue to project column, which is written in Node.js using the OctoKit GitHub API thing, to see how it works. And if you want, we can cover that in a future episode. So there we go, that's that. Let's get on. It's already 8:25 in my time, local time. Let's get on with, was there anything else? Oh yeah, one more thing. It's a really cool, I think Vitaly, one of my colleagues, reposted this or retweeted a tweet that posted this thing, when to use SAP Fiori Elements, and it's got all sorts of interesting, fairly high level information, but it's got also links to YouTube videos in the document as well. 30 pages worth of stuff, definitely worth a read. So look out for that. When to use SAP Fiori Elements. I do need some sort of, I suppose I could, I do need some sort of chat thing here I can post URLs in, but I'm sure you can find it as well. So look, if you're not following Vitaly Rudnitsky as well already on Twitter, go and follow him and you'll see the tweet. Right, so on to the subject of this episode, the main subject of this episode, which is, I'm glad we caught up though, it's very important, which is, oh, Ronnie, awesome, thank you very much. How the hell did you find that? Have you got some sort of extension in my browser that you can copy the URLs from? That's pretty cool. So on to the subject of the day, which basically came out of a question on the SAP community. Where was it? It was from Kevin. There we go. Yes, it was from Kevin. Kevin Hugh, who CSN file in the cloud application programming model, in the cloud programming model, S4HANA Cloud API, and what he was asking. Links to GUID. What he was asking was, there's a couple of tutorials in a mission for SAP TechEd where an external API from S4HANA, the metadata of that API is taken or is provided to be consumed within the context of a service implementation in JavaScript in a CAP application. The fact that it's a CAP application is sort of neither here nor there. It was taken from the API Business Hub, SAP API Business Hub, and Kevin's question, which is a valid question, was the file API business partner.json, is just there, provided there. Let me just go to the tutorial itself, and if you're interested, if you go to developers.sap.com, when I'm running this encoding now with this 4K monitor, it's just slightly sluggish, and there's just like a slight 10, 20, 50, 100 milliseconds delay. It really messes with my head. So developers.sap.com, the only URL you need to know. If you look at the top menu, it's slightly new, and you hit the app space, you get straight to the missions that we've made available for SAP TechEd. Okay, and you can do them at home, right? And what Kevin was referring to, I think, was the first mission the first tutorial in the mission S4 HANA extensions with cloud application programming model. Basically, this mission has got 6 tutorials, and we cover CAP, and we also cover the cloud SDK. So it's a really nice mission. Oh, thanks, Ronnie. Ronnie, superstar again. Thank you very much. That's the tweet. Yes, Vitaly retweeted an SAP Devs thing. And what Kevin was referring to was blah 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 blah. Where was it? API. There we go. API business partner. There we go. Download. Here we go. Import the API business partner API definition. So the idea of this is that we take the definition of an API in S4HANA in order to be able to expose its entities as part of my services service, and then use it, and then also call it. But anyway, I provided, when I was writing this, the way that this was generated wasn't yet public, or wasn't quite ready for prime time public wise. So what I decided to do was just to say, here it is, magically there's the JSON file that's been generated. And that JSON file, if we look at the JSON file actually, you will see that it is in a format. Does anybody recognize what this format is? It's a CAP format, or rather, let me say it's a CDS format. It's Core Schema Notation. So basically, it's the canonical neutral format for Core Schema. Ilfest Terminal, thank you for following. And in fact, I just realised that I now know Serendeti Light Vessel Automatic. You followed me previously. Thank you very much. I've just seen, I can see on my thing there, on my activity feed, who's following. Awesome. I've never noticed that before. So thank you also, Ilfest Terminal. I like the word _terminal. That's always good in a name. Thank you for following and welcome. So this is Core Schema Notation. And this is Core Schema Notation, i.e. not a compiled version of CDS, but a canonicalized version of CDS, right? And Core Schema Notation, CSN, can be consumed within the context of other CDS definitions. You can import this file, and that's what you do in the tutorial. You can import this file into a CDS definition and then use the entity definitions within it. But the question was, how the heck did we get this file? And a couple of colleagues, I pinged them on the internal issues list, but I think they were checking anyway. So Dennis and also Vladislav have responded basically with information about a little, if at all, known package on the SAP NPM registry, one called SAP EDM Converters. And actually Vladislav told me about another package, and it's there actually, SAP EDMX to CSN, which is exactly what we want, right? So where did this come about? If we have a look at the, at the API, did I say it? Well, in fact, there's the URL there, the API sap.com, i.sap.com. By the way, another colleague of mine, another SAP developer advocate, Max Streifeneder, is in Cluj today, giving a presentation and demo on cool stuff, including CAP. He mispronounced API as IPA in SAP Inside Track, where was it? Riga, and I've never allowed him to live it down. So ipa.sap.com, I think that should be a thing. So anyway, this is the API Business Hub, if you're not already aware. I'm going to log on, and I think the story about APIs and the whole sort of mindset of APIs is becoming more important again, or more relevant again, with the announcement of SAP Graph. I'm sure you saw that if you watched the keynote live up there, there on stage in Las Vegas last week. Or of course, it's also available on the TechEd website as a recording of Jürgen Müller's keynote, where had all sorts of cool stuff, including some really cool CAP and Cloud SDK stuff, some in TypeScript as well, demoed by our good friend Rui Nogueira. And anyway, where was I? So APIs and access to S4HANA stuff in the cloud, for example, super important, especially when we start thinking about the intelligent enterprise and business services and so on. Brenton, welcome. What's that little? Is that beer? I can't tell what that little emoji is. But as soon as I mention IPA, Brenton appears. Brenton Callahan 0001. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So welcome, Brenton. So yeah, here's the API Business Hub. I've logged on. The reason I've logged on is because I want to get I think I've already got it actually. I want to get my API key. If we have a search for business partner, and in fact, we only want to search within the SAP S4HANA Cloud, business partner role. In fact, rather than get you to watch me search, there it is, API Business Partner. This is the OData service for Business Partner, and this is the API that we're using in the mission, in the TechEd mission that I wrote for TechEd, but you can do at home as well. And it describes various information about business partner, addresses, emails, etc. And in order to be able to consume this API, which is an OData API, we can download the specification, right? Oh, but also we can have a play around with it in the sandbox. We'll do that shortly. If you've not played with the API Business Hub, it's really important to get your brain around. Yes. Oh, so I thought you said run, Ronnie. Rui. Yes, Rui. Too many exclamation marks and eyes and ones and things. Yes, Rui. Awesome. So yeah, in fact, we can. Well, I've already added it. It must have been a while ago to my API cockpit, which is over here, which is quite a new thing. I've never seen the API cockpit before. So yeah, this is the OData service of a business partner in my API cockpit, and you can have a play with it. For example, here, I don't know, business partner address, and this is obviously auto-generated from the OData metadata. We got business partner address. We can get post and patch and delete and everything. So if we do have a look at that, we can see here we can actually try it out. I'm not that keen on trying things out in web browsers. I'm a terminal person, so we'll try it out shortly from the command line, from the terminal. Oh, that's interesting. That's not quite what I expected. Response body. Let's see what the headers were. The headers seem okay. There's the OData backend enablement processor, or P. I can't remember what it stands for. That's part of the SAP gateway. Let's just give that another go. I'm not sure. 200 okay. Maybe it's just a rendering issue rather than a response issue. Response body. Come on, will it render correctly this time? Well, there you go. That's a lesson anyway to say, well, forget the browser. Let's do it for real. So I'm going to copy this URL. Can I copy it? Let's go. I think my browser, this page is frozen. There we go. What's going on? I can't even highlight that. Let me just refresh that. API cockpit. I could go back actually and just, yeah, my machine is running really, really slow. So I'll just copy this here. It's probably not the API Business Hub at all. It's probably my machine. Definitely need a second machine to encode with this 4K monitor. So what I'll do, I don't need that anymore, but what I'll do is I'll open up a terminal, and in fact, tmux attach, I think okay, tmux, all right, I've a new session, let's call it episode 38, and go into live streams, episode 38. Okay, that'll do. So yes, we got that. And in fact, all I've done is created this setup, which will set an environmental variable with my API key, which I don't want you to see, obviously. So we can say curl. Let's just play around with it for a second. Let's move this across over here so you can see what's going on. Curl, the very basics. Let's go for BOS, and let's just paste that in and see what happens. Okay, so 401 unauthorized. That's cool. I would expect that. And the way that there's a tutorial written by another colleague of mine in DevRel, awesome colleague Meredith Hassett, and if you look in the tutorial navigator you'll find it. But basically you supply an API key header in the request. So let's try that now. Let's go across to here. Let's do that again and say add a header. API key, is it API key? I think it's API key. Now, and this is where I've got my API key environmental variable. Let's try that. Unauthorized, hold on a second. Let me just go to, I'm just going to double check something. I'm going to move to my super secret. There we go. Unauthorized. API key. There we go. Now, okay, so I can switch back. That's I think, is that the first? Tim. Hi, Tim. The tutorial. I looked at it this morning actually, just to check it was still there. Let me go into my no, not that one. let me go into my history. Hidden hacking, yes, hidden hacking. The tutorial, sorry about that, the tutorial was so slow. Oh, there we go, that's it. Testing API Business Hub APIs with curl. So what I'm going to do next time is get a chat channel here so I can send it to you, but you can find that there as well. That's the one, and this tells you that somewhere I saw it. You can, there we go, yeah, API key, where you send that header. There we go. So it's Robert. It is really sluggish, this machine, when I'm running the streaming software. So anyway. So where is my terminal? Well, we can open up another terminal here, and oh, there we go. Oh, there it is. There. Okay. No idea why that's. Okay, fine. So if we now try that again. Okay. So now we have not got the 401 anymore. We've got a temporary redirect. Okay, which is interesting because the 307, I've never really seen. Well, I don't see very often an HTTP status code 307. A 302 is a temporary redirect. A 301 is a permanent redirect. That's interesting. Let's find out. HTTP status code 307. Temporary redirect. Okay, so in fact 2 found redirect. Okay, interesting. So what's the difference between a 302 and a 307? Anyway, so what we can do is tell curl to also follow redirects. Curl is awesome because it's a command line tool. And there we go. We've got some stuff. Now let's just get rid of the verbosity. We don't need to see the headers now. And also what we'll do is we'll pipe it into that awesome command line tool JQ, which is a JSON querier, but it also by default sort of nicely prettify the JSON. Parse error. Oh, has it not? Business partner. Okay. Ah, no, of course, yeah. Okay, 1 second. Of course, this is XML. This is not JSON. So this is the service document of the OData service. Anyway, that's not where I wanted to go with this. Where I wanted to go was having a look at the metadata document, and let's just have a look at the metadata document. Yeah, and we can see basically metadata. Now, this is the thing that needs to be converted into CSN, back to where we were, which is this question here. How do we convert this stuff? So let's grab this metadata. In fact, we'll grab it from the specification here. So the specification is in JSON format. It's like a Swagger API style format, or YAML. Who wants YAML? When they can have EDMX, entity data method modeling, I don't know, in XML, I can't remember. So we want the EDMX file. So let's download the EDMX file, and it's downloaded into here, API business partner dot, I downloaded it already, EDMX. The metadata here. So we want to convert this into that API business partner.json file. And what was said here was that we need, well, one of two programs, EDM converters, or as Vladislav told us about, there's another package called SAP EDMX to CSN. So why don't we look at that one first? So npm, let's install it locally to a project. So why don't we say make the conf cd npm init. So we've got basically, you know, a skeleton npm project in which to install local packages, and they'll go in the package JSON. So we'll say npm install as a development dependency. Why not? SAP. I've already got npm config ls. I've already got the reference to the SAP registry pointing to the right place. So we can do an npm install -d. In fact, before we do that, info SAP EDMX, what's it called, to CSN. Ooh, right, okay, so we know it exists. It relies on only four. It's only got 4 dependencies. I mean, they obviously have dependencies themselves. Commander, which I think is a command line argument processing thing, you know, to parse options and things. FS extra, file system extra, standard node module to do extra things on the file system with directories and files and everything. Sync request, I think that's an HTTP request library for synchronous requests, and XML.js, obviously parsing XML, which you're going to need to do if you're going to be pulling apart EDMX metadata and turning it into something else. So why don't we install that, install as a development dependency, and see what happens. Entity data model XML. So okay, thank you. I can't remember what I said actually. Entity data modeling XML. Oh, almost right, but not quite. So we've got that, and if we have a quick look now, well, yes, in fact, move setup to my home directory for a second, so I don't accidentally look into it by mistake. That's got my API key in it. If we have a quick look now, let's make that a bit bigger. We can see in the node modules, we've got, as expected, a directory called @SAP. In fact, if we quit out there for a second, npm list, which will list the local packages, and I've got a depth equals 1 in my default npm configuration. Of course, it's only got that, which is cool, right? So if we now have a look at it, in here we've got this EDMX to CSN, and it's got a nice change log, and we can see that, well, what can we see? Fixed an issue, that was when? August. So it's been around for a while. Okay, it's been around since middle of last year. Again, you know, I'm not, you know, I know very little about most things. So the fact that I didn't know this existed is my fault. But anyway, so it's been going for a while. Various fixes, replacements, on time. Anyway, so that's that. But the interesting thing as well is that, as we saw in the npm info SAP EDMX to CSN, it's got this binary. Again, I don't like the word binary because it's not binary, it's an executable. It's not in binary format, it's just JavaScript, right? EDMX to CSN, where is that? We saw that, well, we saw where that might be. There it is, in the .bin directory. We know that binaries are installed, executables are installed in this .bin directory of the node modules directory. So either we can, in node, either we can say node modules .bin EDMX to CSN, or more comfortably, well, let's do that actually now so we can see what happens. Node modules .bin EDMX to CSN, and it gives us some stuff, which is cool. But what we can do is npx, go and find me and sort of temporarily install it if it's not there, which is quite an amazing sort of, you know, just-in-time thing. Npx EDMX to CSN, and it'll do the same thing. Okay, so it will find it. It knows where to look in a .bin. It's like a, you know, well-known directory name .bin inside node modules. So that's quite cool. So we can say, for example, let's try it now. EDMX to CSN. Input is API business partner EDMX. Output is, well, let's have it well, API business partner.json, because that's the name of the file that we have in our tutorial. Let's see what happens. Wow, okay. Completed the conversion, saved CSN model to API business partner.json. So you can, what we've done is taken an EDMX file, an OData, an API definition in the form of EDMX from the API Business Hub, converted it into CSN or season. I think the cool way of saying it is season. So let's have a look at it. API Business Partner. There we go. Nice. And this looks pretty much like, where's the tutorial? Yeah, pretty much like that, right? So actually, why don't we download this and compare? This is the one that was pre-prepared, and see if this conversion, this live conversion, is the same. Why don't we do that? Let's go raw and save as, and we'll save it into I hate these sort of things here. Live stream episode 38. What? Episode 38. Well, why don't we save it into here? Yeah, hold on a sec. Let's quit out of here, go back up here, and EDMX. Oh yeah, okay, we'll put it in there. That's cool. We'll save it into that same place. Okay. Yes. So now, yes, we've got the JSON from the tutorial, this pre-converted, magically pre-converted, in a secret black box somewhere. And let's compare it. Let's just make this, let's make this full screen actually. So we'll take we'll use vimdiff. We'll take the pre-prepared one from the tutorial as the A, and then we'll take the freshly converted one as the B. Let's just see. API Business Partner. Oh yeah, that's really interesting. On Mac OS, you get upper and lowercase in file names and directory names, but it's not case. It's case sensitive, or it's case aware, but it's not case sensitive. Look, I said API, and it converted it to case. I'm not sure I like that. Anyway, JSON. We'll compare that with conf API Business Partner. So the converted one. Let's have a look. Ooh, okay. That's quite. Oh, okay. No, here we go. Here we go. Look. This has got the version thing. All right. So in fact, let's go out first of all and conf API. Let's get rid of this version thing and try that again. A bit closer. Oh, that's better. Yeah. Look. Okay, some space differences. Length 20. Okay, what's going on here? Yeah, some definite space issues, but it looks otherwise the same, doesn't it? Okay, maybe it's an exercise for after this, but I think that's doing exactly what we want it to do. I wonder if we can, so that's got 2 spaces, each thing is 2 spaces. So let's go across to here. Oh, tell you what we'll do. Rather than try and mess around with the spaces in an editor, why don't we use JQ? So if we say JQ, oh, I've got another idea as well. JQ and bring in the API JSON, and there we go. So that's let's create a file. Let's just create a file called tut.json, and then we'll say JQ and bring in the API and output that to new.json. Tut.json, new.json. That's better. So we've used JQ to prettify both in the same way so we don't get any spacing weirdness. So actually, it looks almost the same. The only difference seems to be in these cardinality things here. Target, max, and max. So that is the old one, and max is the new one. So I didn't actually target max. Rings a bell, doesn't it? Wait a minute. if we have a look into the node modules into the EDMX CSN changelog, which we saw, there we go, target max, rename the attribute target max to max. So that, oh God, that was December last year. So I'm guessing that the tool that somebody helped me use inside of SAP to pre-convert that business API business partner EDMX to JSON was an old tool, but it worked. And actually, it looks also like the CDS compiler is fairly lenient and will take target max as well as max, but it looks like target max is the old way of expressing you know, the second half of a cardinality relationship, and max is the new. So let's just have a look at that again. Yeah, so basically the relationship, in fact, let's just look at one of them. There we go. Target max. So this is the cardinality. Okay, this is the new one, but anyway, this is the cardinality. So the relationship between whatever the parent is and to email address, a navigation property, which is an association, I suppose. Yeah, the target from whatever this is above to address email address type can be, you know, zero to many, and that is something further up here. Oh, there we go. It's a BP business partner contact to address type. Anyway, so that's how that whole thing fits together. There's another thing in the answer to Kevin's question on where are we? There it's on third one. There's also this SAP EDM converters, which probably does the same sort of thing. EDM converters plural makes me think that it's maybe a package of multiple converters. But anyway, so that's that. Yeah, I guess there's no, yeah, there's 2 minutes to go, so let's end on time. That was a bit of a random one, but receiving DMs from everyone blocked on Twitter. I probably do actually, so I'll turn that on. I'll turn on the allowing of DMs from everyone. I'll have no idea what that is. I'll have a look in the settings. Thanks, Robert, for pointing that out. So you can send me the address. So I guess you want some pins, some badges. That's cool. Yeah. So on the next episode, we'll continue to play around with this and do some more conversions and play around when poking the API with a stick to see what happens. But yeah, I guess that's it. So have a great day. Yes, have a great day, rest of day and weekend. If you're coming to TechEd next week in Barcelona, great. Come and see us on the show floor. We're in the developer garage. Come and do the tutorials. Maybe I'll make it a requirement to do the CAP and Cloud SDK tutorial mission to get one of these SAP hands-on SAP dev stickers. Let me know if that was useful or not and interesting. I think, yeah, we need to become comfortable with, you know, poking APIs and using them and, you know, exploring them. Plenty more where that came from, especially when it comes to sort of business services and so on. So until next time, have a great weekend, and yeah, send me a DM for the pins. Thanks, Bombadil, and thanks for also pointing that weirdness out with OBS. It was my fault. And see you next time. Bye for now.